Okay, so here's the dually levers. So this is the whole tone, the one nearer the player. And as you can see, I've got this dog with a lug on it that's set screwed on to the shaft. And so it's moving solid with the shaft, the rod. And this is freewheeling, but as this comes up, it pushes against that dog. So as you move this lever, it stops, but then the inside one can keep on moving because the dog moves away from that lever. Hopefully that kind of shows what's happening. This vertical I just added, I'm going to show you. This whole thing's been just an evolution. Every time I get an idea, it's something new. But since this is going 90 degrees to all the action, I had to figure out a way to translate that 90 degrees rotation without it binding up. This is what I came up with. I don't know if it's the best, but it works good. So as the vertical knee lever is engaged like this, I can have a dowel pin that basically is just a smooth point surface along it that pushes up on this cross dowel pin, and they slide against each other, pretty frictionless. I mean, as much as I can come up with. But that causes this bell crank to pull the pull rod, which comes down and pulls on this bell crank that reverses and lowers both strings 3 and 7 right here. Anyway, and it works good. Works really good. Point at these, Steve. So the other thing about the guitar that's sort of funky is that when I took the pulleys and cables off, at the time it seemed like a good idea. I wanted to still keep all of these original cast Bigsby rocker arm bell crank things, and so I that they're going the opposite direction of the way all the modern guitars work, and so I had to figure a way to translate that. And so I made these bell cranks, and I've got bearings inside of them. They really work. They're real smooth and easy to actuate, but they translate 90 degrees in the motion like that. So it kind of works the same way as the cables did, except it's all rotted. This one, these two I'm showing you are the A and B pedals. So not much application to a modern guitar, but I kind of like the way they work. These lowers that I put on are different from the other lowers I put. Everything's just been a learning experience. The original lowers on Bigsby's had a rod across the top here with a bell crank that came down and pulled on the original finger, and I just couldn't make them work good, so I had to go away from that. And so like this lever, right, this bell crank here is the lower, the first one I put on. Let's see, it's this one. So the spring's holding it when it's open, and then the lever up here pushes against it, brings us back to lower it. And I did a similar thing on this pedal here. Put one of these little bell cranks here with a spring that holds it in the free position, and then you pull back and release. Everything's been added piecemeal, one step at a time, so there wasn't a real original plan, vision. I think if I had it to do all over again, I could be more efficient with some of the layout and stuff, but it works. Anyway, hopefully that kind of demonstrates some of it.